Okay, hello, this is Cuckoo, and I'm here at the Messe 2015, and I saw an extremely special, what do you call it, a touch surface synthesizer. Well, I'm probably going to be corrected, but an incredible synthesizer by Macbeth, and I'm right here with Mr. Macbeth himself.
Hey, hi there, I'm Ken Macbeth. I'm here at the Messe 2015. And I've been enjoying showing the Elements synthesizer, which is my new product. As said, it's a touch-sensitive, keyboard-operated synthesizer. It's purely analog. Even the keyboard circuitry is purely analog. It's got a filter in it, which I've spent some 8 months perfecting. And when I say that, I mean I'm standing, listening to get it right.
Are you creating the filters from scratch? Are they your design?
Yeah. Basically, you will always have models for things, but then, of course, you can work the model up, changing parts, understanding a bit more. Quite often when things are put out from a factory, they are done to a certain limit, an acceptable limit, and then it goes out. For me, I have all the time in the world to listen and listen and listen and listen and listen, which involves many prototypes. There are about 10 prototypes off the filter that has gone into the Elements.
I think I could really tell. What I really liked, the first time I saw it, I instantly felt like, wow, that's something I need to touch. I need to touch that device to see what it sounds like. And then when I touched it, it really responded. There was like a warmth and a roar and also like a warmness, and yeah, it was really something quite spectacular. And I'm a bit picky about how things sound, so if I don't connect emotionally to something, I don't bother. But this really, it has a spring reverb, just that.
Well, that's very nice of you to say so. What I've found is that, everyone that does touch this thing, I haven't had anyone say it's crap, you know. It's just great fun. And I've made it as a machine which is kind of more instantly accessible than a modular. Now, I've done modular before. I've done it in 3U, I've done it in 5U, but my home is in the integrated synth. And I like, simplicity. In the old days, when I was young, I used to have like 4-track tape recorder, mixer, synthesizer, hey, maybe a sequencer. Just great, absolutely. Minimalism, and it makes you think. But modular, for me, yes, if I want multiples of things. So if I need, 20 oscillators, I can understand that. Anyway, that's my opinion. Modular guys, you love your stuff. This thing could interface with your stuff as well. When I say could, it can. It sends out CV and gate, takes in CV and gate. Each oscillator has its own CV in. So if you use a 3-track sequencer, say, you can have 3 separate sequences, chording or whatever.
So it is, in fact, modulable, this little synth?
Slightly, yeah, I would say so. Again, I'm aiming this thing at players. I actually like playing it with real keys. So you can stick in CV and gate. I make a CV and gate keyboard, but it's got MIDI as well, so you can just play it in with your system. Touch keyboard's fantastic. I mean, once you get into this thing, it's flat, so there are no ridges or bumps on it. Once you get into this thing, you can just slide between notes up and down. And it's subtle enough to know that when you're doing that, it's not like scrolling a keyboard, a physical keyboard. So yeah, I wanted that. So no velocity, right? No pressure. Now you can get that on other things, but this one totally flat.
And it measures the current going through your fingers or something, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, basically it's a touch capacitative keyboard. When you touch it, the current, we'll call it, the current goes to ground. They get you energized by it, something like that. Anyway, that took a long time. That took me 10 years of prototype after prototype, and then I leave it some months, and then I forget a couple of years, and I go, no, I've got to go back to it. And eventually I got it. I'm really proud of it.
What kind of customers are buying your synthesizer? I heard someone say that you got some high-profile customers. Is that something you want to talk about?
Yes, I have high-profile customers. That's what I'd like to say. Some of the names you know out there, but for their sake, I'm not going to say who they are. That's fair enough. I would never do that, but by golly, when you go into a cinema and hear your own synthesizers on the big screen in a movie, I'll say that's good fun.
That must be sick.
It's sick. It's so sick. It's so I have to lie down.
So, but do they come to you and say, "Hey, I'd like your stuff," but maybe they have like some specific wishes for a tweak that they specifically want? So how does it work?
One client wanted a large set of oscillators and filters, and they had a specific purpose for it. This person does movie soundtracks. I'm sure you people can guess who I'm talking about. But anyway, he specifically asked for the oscillators and filters, etc. And I remember I sent him 2 sets of this stuff. And to be fair, yes, it was on a film. I heard it once. I rather suspect that it may appear on 1 film, maybe 2. But I think when you're making soundtrack music, you have to be so diverse from each film, etc., that you are going to use different pieces of equipment. And here's one for you. I do get asked. I was just talking with some friends there. One of my favourite synths is in fact a virtual analog synth from the 90s, and it's Korg Prophecy. I use 2 of them. And the thing is, when I'm recording at home, hey, I got my analog stuff, but I like using all sorts of stuff. So I'm not defined by analog.
Have you been building these things for a long time? When did you start pursuing this kind of work?
We normally start getting into this when we're teenagers. So when I was a teenager, I was into visual arts. I was going to go and do art school, but I was also into sound. So local music shops back in the 70s, and I mean late 70s, I'm not that old. But anyway, they started getting in the ARP, the Moog synthesizer, the Korg synthesizer, Roland, and I got to try these things out at the music shop. Horrible schoolboy turns up and asks to play everything. But, it's so expensive back then. How could you do it? I couldn't do it. And then I saw magazines which showed kit synths. And then I went, whoa, wow. I want it, but how? And then you just have to learn it. It becomes a hobby thing. And I made some very primitive circuits back then. I was in a band. I made a kind of multi-oscillator thing. Unpredictable, unstable, but we were electronic madness back then. As time went on though, I got more and more into it. And I think maybe it's now about 25 years ago.
Is it
my first stable temperature compensated stable oscillator, and that was it. And people came to see this. A couple of businesses came to see me. I remember Emulator came to see me because they were fascinated by this. There was one of the guys there, and he used to be the sales rep in the 70s for, I think it was Arbiter or something, that sold Moog across Europe.
And now 25 years later.
25 years later, what we're going to see is my latest machine. And it's funny because as you go, 15 years I've been doing this commercially. 15. Yeah. So way back at the start, I did something called the M3X, and it was a bass machine. Yeah. And there was a guy who invented, at some point, drum and bass. Invented it. And he demanded to buy my first M3X. And the M3X was very popular. It's a very rich bass sound. I then went on to do a bigger machine called the M5 and then the M5N. They're big. They went to some interesting places.
Yeah.
And but I guess the point I'm trying to make is, the more you design, the more you carry on. Hey, I'll try this now. Hey, I'll try that. Hey, I'll try that. always wanted to touch keyboard. I mean, I just had to do it.
I think the moment you touch a keyboard and interact with a synth, that's when you know if it resonates with you, really. I mean, it's about resonance, I think. If you're in sync with the synth, there's magic.
You're electrically connected.
Yeah. And when I touched yours, it was this kind of resonance that I was looking for.
Well, why don't we go and have a look at it now?
Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so this is it. It got very nice knobs, very high quality knobs, as you can see. And some of them are in steps, and some of them is a really high quality. And these are like really beautiful little things, like sub-detailed. Yeah, it's like a cockpit. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna try it now and see what it sounds like. Now this is like a remarkable synthesizer. You know, some people that do analog synthesizers don't like analog synthesizers. They like it because of the raw, like kind of the raw aspect of the analog, and this certainly has that. And some other analog synthesizers, they are more perfect in a sort of a digitally controlled way. And there's just two sides of what's been going on today. But this, yeah, I get inspired from by everything that happens. That turning up, something happens, and I can relate to that emotionally or musically. And yeah, I think it's like a brilliant set of tools on the board. It's fantastic. I love it. Go, yeah. It's a bit noisy in here, but thank you so much for taking your time. For yeah, cool.
Andreas.
Yes.
Sounds like you were enjoying it. I'm glad.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. It's free form, easy to play. Get lost with it and get into it, I think.
Yeah. It's amazing. How much do these cost now? Is it something you build on every order, or is it something?
No. This is this you buy from the dealers, which is Schneider's Bureau in Berlin, Schneider's Leyden, Alex Ford Distribution, or Sean Cleary with Analog Haven in the States. So as I say, you basically buy it from Schneider Bureau or from Analog Haven in the States, Schneider Bureau in Germany. I prefer it was done that way. Hand building them individually, not so easy. So
what's the price right now?
my RRP for this is 2995 GBP. So in euro, I don't know what the calculation is, but it's going to be about 4,000 euros, something like that. Maybe something like that. There may be shipping involved and stuff. But I'm making 130 of these. See what happens after that.
I wish you all the best of luck. I think it really is one of the most special synths here in Messe, in my opinion. I really like it. So good luck.
Thank you very much.